Hello, everyone, and welcome to this presentation. I am so excited to be here with each and every single one of you today, and to be presenting on how to build a category of one personal brand. This is the uncut brand theory. So, this is for women who were born to shape the world, not to fit inside of it. And I guess that if you are here right now, that is 100% you. So, I'm really excited to share this framework, this methodology with you to truly help you to stand so unapologetically in who you are so that you can expand your visibility to make a bigger impact on this world. So what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to comment like crazy throughout the next 30 to 60 minutes. I was named by Forbes as an Illuminator, as a trailblazer for purpose-led entrepreneurship. And I have this philosophy that what if every single time that we did business, we were also doing good in the world so that the Western world could unify with the Eastern world so that developing countries can be supported by developed countries. And so the idea behind this is so often it's been demonized money. We've seen this big split between like spirituality and money or money and impact. And I just started to ask myself as I traveled around the world the last 10 years, well, how could actually money be a tool for good? How could every single time we are expanding our wealth, it could actually make a big difference in this world? And I came up with this philosophy of merging purpose and profit because I realized that once we merge purpose and profit, us as entrepreneurs, we actually become deeply, deeply fulfilled. I don't want to go into that right away, right here, but what I will say is that every single time you comment throughout this presentation, we're going to do one for one. That means every time you interact, you post something really amazing about this presentation, a win, positive feedback, takeaway that you're getting. Every time you do that, we're going to count the comments and we're going to help a little girl get closer to home who's currently caught in child sex trafficking every single time you do it. So every time you do a comment, we're going to help a little girl get closer to home who is caught in child sex trafficking. My goal by the end of this training is that we're going to remove the limitations in the way of you being seen as the category of one personal brand that you were born to be. And I'm going to help you by the end of the next 30 to 60 minutes to commit to 1 to 2 steps so that you can achieve your life, your business goals a little bit more over the next 7 days. If you stay until the end, I'm going to give you access to a very special link today as well, where you can book in a 15-minute call with me. This 15-minute call is going to be one-on-one. We're going to audit your brand, and I'm going to give you the 1 to 2 strategies to help you to have a clearer roadmap on achieving whatever your next goals are in your personal brand. Normally, sessions like this are close to $500, but for today, I'm also going to give that to you for free. So let me talk a little bit about my branding approach. It's very different to the other branding approaches that you've seen out there. As featured in Forbes, my branding approach is called the Illuminator method. It's the only branding methodology that actually unites spirituality, strategy, and self-expression into this transformative framework. Because I believe that a brand can only grow to the extent that you yourself feel really, really safe in belonging to your authentic self. Until you can genuinely shine without fear, your brand can't actually shine at full power. So, first, what we're going to be doing today and over the time that we're together is we're going to be transforming your identity from the inside out. Let's look at your beliefs, your voice, your sense of worth, and the inner mythology that literally guides every single action that you do or don't take. Because premium category of one brands, they are first expressed internally and then we capture and express it externally through premium category of one branding so that you can fulfill the highest impact that you're born here to create. And this is branding not just as aesthetics, but as this such an empowering process and journey as a woman changing the world. It's about self-liberation. It's about activation. It's about this really expressive journey of becoming everything that you were born to be, and really aligning you with the path of everything that you were here to fulfill on a purpose level as well. So it's super fun. It's definitely not like the the status quo. It's probably really out there. Like my spaces are out there. They're weird, they're wacky, they're crazy, they're delusional, they're insane. They're very out of the box because the idea is to help you to literally get tapped into the most unhinged, express version of you. Now, this isn't about being inauthentic and it's not being about something that you're not. Like if you are genuinely a more sensitive, introverted, poetic person, it's just helping you own that a little bit more. If you are very loud and big and extroverted, then it's just helping you to own that a little bit more as well. Whatever, like boldness is essentially just belonging to the most truest and authentic version of who you are. It's saying the thing that normally fear would make you not want to say, right? It's doing the action that doubt or fear of judgment or criticism would normally keep you small and shrinked in. So we're going to be breaking off all of that over this time together. So let me just share a little bit about me. So my name is Samantha, and I have been an entrepreneur for the last 18 years. I actually started out in entrepreneurship when I was 14 years old. I was just so passionate about helping people to shine, to be bright, to be their authentic self. I started a fashion brand. I was working 20 hours outside of school, saving money, investing it into this fashion brand. And then life went on from there. I took over my family's property development at 19 years old. Without a marketing degree, any of that, I just built it into this multi-eight-figure company. But that really only happened on the back of really facing some very dark and challenging experiences. You know, the biggest thing that I've struggled with in my life is belonging to my authentic self, knowing my identity, knowing how to feel safe in who I am. Most of the time, I was walking through the world and going, it's not safe to be me. Like, I'm too bold, I'm too brave, I'm too out there, and struggling with this process of like, how do I belong to myself? How, or struggling with, do I have to fit in or can I just belong to who I am? And going through so many different cycles of like mental health challenges, trauma, rejection, betrayal, all these different things that were just all to help me to know who I was, know why I was here, and to help me to have the audacity, the courage to know that we're not all meant to be the same. Literally, there's only one you, and there's only ever going to be one you, and that is the unique superpower that you bring. And we go through a journey in life of individuation, of understanding who that person is. And it's only as we stand boldly and audaciously in that can we then attract the unique group of people that often have a very similar story to us so that we are further along in that story and then we can help them with that. And that authenticity, that audacity to stand in who you are and belong deeply to it, it's only then that you'll be seen. Because every time you dull or dim your authenticity, your soulmate clients can't actually see you. When you see the value of your authenticity, then you have the courage to step out in it. And then from that courage, others get to see who you are and what's unique about you. And then that's what really draws them to you. So, a few different things here about me. As I said, been an entrepreneur for 18 years. I've founded multiple companies across property development, branding, coaching, fitness, apps, a lot of different things. And I've had a lot of different awards and accolades along the way. Glamour magazine said I was the #1 female emerging coach. I was honored as a woman changing the world, a finalist for Coach of the Year in the Women Changing the World Awards. I've been named in Australia's top 40 under 40. Had a book featured in the Oscars. I've written now 8 books, with my 8th one being released today. But before all of that, like I just grew up in a small country farm. And it was when I was there that like often I feel like I'm called to big things. And a lot of the time there weren't people around me that even thought that way, believed in that. And most of the time there was nobody with a playbook, a blueprint. So I was figuring it out a lot. And most of the time throughout that, I was like, is there something wrong with me? Like, why am I thinking so big? Um, but I was drawn to so many different things like spirituality and self-expression and just all of these things that most of the time my environment weren't into. They weren't an example of that being even possible. And so it really required me to like travel around the world, invest multi six figures into my development, and get into circles, get into environments with somebody who had a playbook, who had a roadmap, so that I could follow those steps and make it happen. And since then, I've spoken on 6 continents around the world. I've helped thousands of clients, and I've really become known for this very unconventional, unapologetic, authentic, mission-driven entrepreneurship approach. As I say here, say yes before the evidence appears, because endurance builds winners and the long game always rewards the brave. And so I really deeply believe in like we will have the highest level of success and fulfillment as an entrepreneur when we think like 10 years long. And so I really want you to think about that in today's talk. Like start thinking about, where do I want my brand? Where do I want my movement? Where do I want my life in the next 10 years? And then start thinking, well, what are the values? Why is this so important to me? And you want to start to think about those 1 to 3 things that are important, that are going to be your compass for why it's so important right now to step out of your comfort zone, overcome those fears, rewrite those limitations. So as I was saying here, like I've done a lot of things right. I've been featured on all these things. I've written books, followers, experience, reach, all of that. But along the way, like I think it's really important for us to not just show the highlight reel of what it takes to do audacious and bold and ambitious things, because in order for me to now deeply belong to who I am and be audacious and be bold and be brave, I get the name the Illuminator because it's only the depth of the darkness that I've been willing to meet that has helped me to embody the light that I now embody, right? And so that's actually the key. It's the courage to face the deepest, darkest parts of ourselves, the things that are really uncomfortable, that helps us to then be able to expand into that next level again and again and again. And as I said here, like this is where I started. This is a photo of me as a country girl. I was just filled with so much doubt, so much insecurity. But no matter, even though that was happening, like I became a multi-eight-figure award-winning entrepreneur. And what that's really taught me in life is that, like, it doesn't matter that you have fears, doesn't matter that you're not perfect, it doesn't matter that you're going through trauma, your doubts, or you're insecure. Like, you can be highly successful. You can help thousands of people, hundreds of people throughout that time. And I think that most people have this misconception: in order for me to build a successful brand or to create a level of income or impact, I need to keep being this idea of somebody else other than who I am here today in order to make that happen. And I believe in, yes, building your brand from the inside out, building your empire from the inside out. But I also believe in that, like, that's possible for you here today. See, right now, the gap between you and the result that you want, in even if we were to define what that result is for the next 7 days, you right now have everything that you need in your life, in your business for that, except you don't have the perception yet of it. And what I mean by that is that, like, somebody like myself who's built like millions and millions of dollars of income and impact, what happens is when I'm sitting across from somebody, I can look at somebody and I can look at their circumstances and their life, and I can see a perception of actions they could take that could achieve a goal that's often 1 to 5 to 10 times more greater than what they perceive right now. Just last week, I was literally talking to a client of mine who her highest month had been $5,000 a month. In the first 5 minutes, I challenged what could happen in the next 7 to 30 days. And then again, I challenged the actions she could take. It wasn't that those opportunities and those clients and those things weren't there, they were. The thing that she had been missing was the self-belief, but also the perception. And so my gift is to illuminate potentials in your life, in your business right now, because you have everything there, but what you don't have is the perception. And perception comes from beliefs. And so if we don't have the identity of, say, a 20K per month entrepreneur, but we have the identity as a 5K per month entrepreneur, then we'll be stepping into our life, our day, our business, our social media as the 5K per month entrepreneur. But when I come in, I help to shift and change that and illuminate what the 20K per month entrepreneur would do. And I challenge that, and then I give you the actions so that you can just clearly walk them out. And I'm actually going to give that as a test here with you today. So I'm really, really excited for that. But I've only learned that through me, myself, right here, going through really hard seasons. And I would often think, wow, I'm not confident enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have the resources. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But it wasn't like I would just keep illuminating, well, what would that other version of me do? What would the woman who's already achieved that, what would she do? And that's what helped to compound my results throughout that time. So since then, as I've been mentioning, I've been named the Illuminator. And I encourage you to take a photo of this right now because you might want to put it on your phone as a bit of a reminder of this message that I'm sharing with you today. Because you're an illuminator too. An illuminator is an entrepreneur who turn their pain into purpose and is illuminating their potential in life and business to shape a better world. And that's what you are. You have a level of pain, you have trauma, you have darkness, you have something, a challenge, an obstacle, something that you've overcome. Isn't that right? And that thing that you've overcome has enabled you to carry literally what I call embodied IP. Embodied IP is that you have a story that no one else has. It's unique to you. No one else has the story that you have. And it's the embodied IP. It's the fact that you've overcome different things, that you've developed this knowledge, this skill base, these frameworks that empowers you to be a category of your own because nobody can compete with your story. Nobody can compete with your unique expression. Nobody can compete with the embodied IP, the framework, the methodology that you've come out of those experiences with. And when you really know that and you can stand in it, that's when you become what I call a category of one personal brand. And that's when the competition becomes irrelevant. That's when the price doesn't matter. That's when people will simply find you and they'll feel such this deep emotional connection that they'll be like, I need to hire her. I need to hire her. I need to hire him. So people call me the Illuminator, and there's no one else that can compete with that. It's a category of one. I've got my unique methodology. I've got a story. I've got a movement I'm building, and no one else can come close to that, right? Because it's all built on my unique self-expression, just as we're going to do the same for you today. So, 18 years in branding taught me one undeniable truth, and you might want to write this one down. Most people don't have brand problems, they have identity problems. And it took me 18 years to learn this, but I'm going to teach you how to break through this in the next 30 minutes so you get to do it the easy way. Because the hard way is to just keep focusing on that next strategy from the business coach, the branding coach. But the easy way, the fast track way, is to learn how to build the life and empire of your dreams by merging spirituality, strategy, and self expression. Because I've learned that 80% of an entrepreneur's success isn't in the strategy. It's in their ability to break through an identity. It's in their ability to essentially become the identity of the person, right? To have that level of conviction in the identity. That's 80% of the work. So, in 18 years, applying this has really helped me to, as I said, help build property development, real estate, coaching, fitness, and more. But a lot of the different results I'm going to talk about in this particular webinar, I want you to know they're not typical. They require so much audacity, so much conviction. And so, in order for this to work for you, you have to be the type of person that does things that don't feel good. You have to be the type of person who's willing to follow the plan, not just what your emotions want to do that day. You have to be the type of person who says go and does the thing well before you're ready, or you feel like you're like even the perfect or the ideal version of you need to be before you'd have success with it. You've got to believe in the result and move to make it happen. But if you are that type of person, which I know you are because you're here in this incredible Women Changing the World event today, if you are that type of person, then these three secrets are going to be game changers for you. So I encourage you to get out your notepad, get out your pen, and I'm going to go through these three secrets with you today. I'm just going to take a sip of water. One thing I didn't mention to you all today is that I'm actually launching my latest book today as well. It's called Uncut. So you're all going to get a free copy of that. And what's really cool about this book is that there's been so many different changes, and you'll have to let me know if you've seen this yourself, but there's been so many different changes right now in branding, in content, in sales, in marketing. So many different people are feeling the shifts with that. And so a lot of people are asking, well, is that me? Is it something to do with me? Did the demand for me go down? But I'm here to remind you that the demand for you didn't go down. The market just changed. And so Uncut is a playbook that helps you to know what to do in which order right now in this trust recession to keep growing your brand to be seen as the category of one that you are. Okay, secret number one. This is the first secret. The first secret to building a category one brand is knowing that your brand can only rise to the level your identity feels safe to shine. I'm going to say that again. Your brand can only rise to the level your identity feels safe to shine. I want you to just get your notepad and pen out for a moment. I want you to just write down a number. 10 being I'm really super safe in that, 1 being not so much. And just write down that number. What number are you right now feeling safe to shine? Not even just in a little bit, but if you were to think about the highest version of you, the highest potential of your life, your brand, your impact, out of 10, what number are you feeling safe to shine in that version of you right now? Just take 5 seconds here as you write that number down. So every single premium brand, it starts with inner permission. If you don't feel safe being fully seen, your strategy will always compensate, contort, or camouflage you. If you don't feel fully safe to be seen, like the podcast will be lukewarm, it'll be mediocre. The book will be, the stage would be, the talk will be, like the content will be. So we can see that you could be doing all the right things, but they may not be creating the results you want simply because you don't feel fully safe to be seen in the most authentic, audacious version of you. So we need to focus on identity before visibility, safety before expansion, alignment before execution. And that's the spiritual foundation of the Illuminator method. I want to make today's presentation super applicable, like something that you can implement straight away. So what I want to do is I want to share this framework with you. It's called the Identity Safety Scan. It's a three-step self-check where you get to identify what is contracting you and how can we remove that and help you to move into a state of expansion. So with your notepad and pen out now, let's spot the shrink point. I want you to just take a moment and reflect on the moments where you've muted yourself in your brand, in your content, your offers, your pricing, your visibility, or voice. Write down those moments. What are they right now? The first one, five that are coming to mind. And then what I want you to do is I want you to name the fear behind it. Is it a fear of judgment, failure, being too much, not being ready? When we can then identify that emotional block, it's going to remove 50% of its power. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to rewrite that belief. So we're going to transform, for example, if I shine, people will judge me, into if I shine, the right people will find me. And that's what's going to create that safety so that we can then start to take some bold or audacious actions with your brand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put about 3 to 5 minutes on the clock right now. And then I'm going to give you the time to just write that down. Let's focus on 3 moments, going through the steps on the screen here, and then let's get back into it. Okay, so I hope you went well with that. The next step is what we're going to do is we're going to put them into these 7-day micro actions. So what I've done here is I've created a breakdown of the next 7 days, what you can do just to start to make some micro actions in this. So you can take a photo of this and then use it as a little bit of a reminder each day. Day 1 to 2, we're going to identify that area you've been hiding or softening your truth, whether it was in your Instagram stories, your post, the podcast, the book, wherever it is. And then you're going to write a piece of content on day 3 and 4 that really expresses your real voice, not your safe voice, but your realist voice. Because in order to move from just being an expert into a thought leader, you need to not say the thing that everybody else is saying in your industry. You need to have a unique perspective on the topic that you are an expert on, one that's a little bit out there, different, a little bit controversial of sorts, because everybody's saying they're an expert these days, but to be a thought leader is to say the thing that no one else is saying. And that's what I want to encourage you to step into. In day 5 to 6, we're going to increase your visibility by 10%. So, whatever that is for you, it could be sharing a story, a vulnerable post. Talk about where you used to be versus what you are now. Talk about, the ugliest truths about yourself that you never share. Talk about what the version of you that you never post about. When you share a deep, vulnerable post like that, it's going to increase your visibility because people aren't used to you posting in that way. So I encourage you to do that day 5 to 6. And day 7, we're going to revisit the belief of what becomes possible when I no longer dim myself. You're going to go back to that previous slide here. Look at those different shrink points. And again, you're going to take the action of the new belief. For example, if I shine, the right people will find me. Then I'm going to ask myself, okay, well, if that's true, then where can I shine more? What would be the thing that I'd do if I wasn't afraid to dim myself anymore? When you do this, the thing that happens is it elevates your energy and your magnetism. People feel this conviction, right? They're like, wow, she really knows who she is. She's not afraid to say the thing. And they start to feel activated. People buy from the activation, right? It's how your content makes them feel. It's when they're on a sales call, it's your ability to activate them into the desire, into the possibility, into the transformation, into the identity of what it is that you sell. And that's what makes them go, whoa, if it felt like that in their content, if it felt like that in the sales call, if it felt like that in the event, then just imagine working with her for a year, right? So they're buying based off the feeling that they get from all of those things. Okay, let's go into secret number 2. So, secret number 2 for building a category of one personal brand is strategy only works when it's built from your authentic frequency. Your authentic frequency. So, what we're going to be doing in secret number 2 is we're going to again be helping you to move from expert to thought leader. And what moves you from expert to thought leader, what moves you from being just seen as another life coach, another business coach, another person who's competing on price, or just another person in the market, is we have to create a unique method of transformation. A unique method of transformation. So for me, that's the Illuminator method. No one else has it, and no one else can deliver it. It's a series of steps based on your story and your unique knowledge qualifications that gives people a result, if they work with you, that's faster, easier, more enjoyable, or innovative than anywhere else on the market. And that's what creates the scarcity. That's what influences supply and demand. So you get to actually charge a premium for it because they know no one else can do this for me other than this person who has this unique method, who also has a story that only they have, that no one else is going to see, know, and understand me in the way that this one does. And that's why the competition and price becomes irrelevant. That's why they're going to pay a premium, right? Because they're like, there's only one of them. So this is how you really stop selling $100 sessions. Like before I really did all of this, I was selling, $500 session, $1,000 session, $5,000 packages, but then it shifted to $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 plus packages, all because I built a category of one brand, I built a premium offer, and I just applied everything that's here. So let's take an action break. This is called the frequency alignment map. It's a tool to align your inner frequency with your external strategy. What we're going to do is we're going to start to look at your brand personality, or what we also call your energetic signature. How do you naturally express yourself? Take a moment to think about it. Are you bold, elegant, wild, mystical, direct, playful, iconic? What do your friends say about you? How do people say, like, oh, when I'm around you, I just always feel so. You could even make it a little bit of an action step over the next week. You could ask 5 to 10 people, wow, whenever I'm around you, I just feel, and get them to finish the sentence. We want to match a brand strategy to that signature. And the way that we do that is we do it through your content, your visuals, your office, your presence. We want it to naturally mirror your energy, not a template. We want to make sure that nothing in your content or your marketing and branding feels forced, draining, or like a costume needs to go, like a mask needs to go. Because one of the biggest changes that's happening right now, especially in the trust recession, is that people are not buying from the most polished brands. They're buying from the brand that feels raw, real. They feel something like this isn't a performance, it's not a show. Like this is the like I can see it, right? They're buying into the human behind it. It's why we're starting to see it trend a little bit like more these personal FaceTime kind of stories. You'll see somebody doing a reel and it's like they're just talking to their bestie, recording direct to camera. This is the stuff that's kind of going a lot better now, is they'll just bring up their phone and they'll talk direct to camera like it's a bestie and it's real, raw. They're feeling the human behind it. And the reason that this is happening, just to dissect for a moment, is throughout COVID, there was so many people selling everything, and some people didn't deliver on the promises. And there's been this trust break in the market where people are like, are they really the real deal? And so people want this kind of unpolished version too. They want to really feel you and know the real you and the human, not only just the expert. So there's 2 steps to this frequency alignment map. Number one, define how you naturally express yourself and be okay to be cringe and bring in the quirky, weird, wacky parts of you, right? They actually are going to be what sets your brand apart. And then the second thing we're going to be doing is we're just going to figure out what are a few simple ways that we can bring that in right away. And I'm going to jump ahead and just give you a couple of examples. One of the ways you can do it is through your choice of music. So, your choice of music, songs you put on your content can easily bring out the natural energetic signature of your content, right? That's just a really simple first step that you can do when you're sharing content. Choose the songs that naturally bring out that. So if it's like really intense and bold, well, the song would be that way. But if it's more softer and elegant, then you'd always choose songs like that. The second suggestion I have is that your audience want to see the same kind of content from you again and again. So try to pick 1 to 3 content types that you're going to stick with. Are you going to always post carousels? Are you going to always post face-to-face reels? Or are you always going to post B-roll, right? Which is the overlay with just text on it. The more that you can be consistent in 1 to 3 content types, the more your audience is going to go, I can trust them because I know what I'm going to be expecting from him or her. And the same goes with your energetic signature. If you're one day in this energy and the next in that energy, you've just got to be careful that is that actually your brand to have that? And will you be consistent in that? Or are you just kind of bringing through one version of you? Right? Some brands are very humorous, and so they've got heaps of memes, and right, that's their brand energetic signature. Versus others, is like you'll see brands and they've just constantly got the talking reels. So try to choose 1 to 3 types that are consistent. Okay, I'm going to put 3 to 5 minutes on the clock, and I'm going to let you take those first 2 steps. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our 7 day micro actions. So, day one, we're going to identify the one trait that defines your energetic signature, which we've done today. Day two, tomorrow, you're going to just audit your brand. So, I want you to look at your content, your branding, your books, your podcasts, any of these things, even your photos, and ask yourself, where am I performing instead of expressing? What's the energy? What do I feel when I look at this? And is it actually authentic to who I truly am? What would change or shift with it? Even the names of your podcasts, your books, um, what you wear. Like I have gone through a huge journey with my styling that actually like there's so much thought into my styling, the colors, what they communicate. Every book of mine is positioning my brand, my podcast name, my every single element is all intentional. Day three, delete one tactic that's draining or it's actually just keeping you generic. Day 4 to 5, create content that reflects your true tone, not your industry. So look at your content types, look at the songs. Day 6, elevate your positioning. So look at your bio, your headline, and make sure that it genuinely expresses your authority, your credibility, right? Don't avoid sharing your results or what makes you unique or different. I know, for example, that there was a time where I was like, if I really share the results I've created, like I will seem up myself or arrogant, but my idol clients need that in order to trust me. And day 7, check, does my brand feel like me? Once you've made all of those different changes. Okay, let's go into secret number 3. So, secret number 3 is my favorite. It's self-expression. Self-expression is the gateway to category creation. This is the fastest way to become a category of one, is to express the part of yourself that you often still suppress. There is a version of you that if no one was around, you would be expressing, right? And that's often the quirky, the weird, the cringe part that makes you really unique and different. And probably it's your clients that if you ask them, what is it about you and your unique approach, you'll be like, I just love the way that, and that's a really good way to uncover that self-expression. So category of one brands, they're not the most polished, but they are the most liberated. They are the most liberated. So just take a moment to reflect on your competitors. And I encourage you actually, let's just do a little fun exercise for the next 20 to 60 seconds. I encourage you to just take out your phone right now and actually search one or two or three of your competitors. And as you're doing that right now, I want you to just, in your own mind, capture 1 to 2 words that describe their energetic signature or what they're the most liberated in, right? So as you're bringing them up, what do you notice about their brand straight away? Where are they being liberated? There's probably a unique way that they're doing it, right? Some brands, for example, in business coaching, are a little bit more corporate. They're very speaking to people's heads, and others are more storytelling and emotion and personal led. Others are, like there's a different energy, there's a different message, there's a different angle. Often you're all helping the same person, but there's a different angle that each of you are coming from, right? And that angle that we come from is actually based on our self-expression. It's the personal part of a personal brand. It's where you tell a story of your lifestyle, your unique thought leadership. It's your unique energy and brand and personality that's coming through, right? A classic example of this, I think, would be Layla Hormozi right now. Layla is differentiating herself through self-expression. She's doing these little videos where it's so funny of her like doing quirky little things, and then she's got parts of herself and her staff members there. But it's really good because one, it captures attention, and two, it keeps attention. Which Grant Cardone, a billionaire, he talks about this. Good marketing captures attention and it keeps it. And the way that you capture attention and you keep attention is by figuring out how to get a different angle to capture and keep attention. And so in Layla's niche, everybody's super serious. And her natural personality is this side of her. And what I've noticed is that, wow, I'm like more drawn to her because I'm seeing this feminine, I'm seeing this lightheartedness, I'm seeing that version of me and myself through her. And I feel closer and more trusting towards her. She took an angle based on her self-expression. And I remember listening to her talk about how she came up with this. She's like, well, I wasn't really feeling in love with my content. I didn't like seeing myself in this way. She was saying along the lines of that. And she's like, so I moved it and I'm like, I like that. I love watching content a little bit like that. And I think that's a really good way to think about it. When you're looking at your own content, do you connect to it? Because you're kind of the niche, you're the ideal client as well, just a few steps ahead of the people that buy from you. And so if you don't like your own content, probably others won't like it either. So just start to create a little folder on your Instagram, your Facebook content ideas. Start to save other content pieces as inspiration. But then when you're looking at all your competitors here, go, what's the place that no other competitors expressing themselves in that I can really confidently because it's based off my self-expression. Again, Layla's a really good example of that. When you illuminate your true identity, you don't then compete, you redefine the character, category, sorry. And this third secret here is the external activation stage of the method. So I know I've been sharing so much with you guys. This is the final part, and this is the category creator code. So what we're going to do in the category creator code is we're going to differentiate you so powerfully that you become a category of one. This is the really fun part. This is the part probably no branding coach has ever asked you about. It's called your forbidden expression. The forbidden expression. And I think probably even just by saying those two words, like already it's conjuring all these different thoughts and ideas forbidden, because it feels forbidden to the part of you that wants to be liked, but loved, accepted, the part of you that's going, I can show you this much, but beyond that, what will my friends think, my family think? What will my clients think? But it's that very part, the part of you that you often censor, that's actually going to be the key to making your brand iconic if you let it through. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to discover that, and then we're going to create a signature message around it so that you can build authority pieces like books, podcasts, offers, content, speaking engagements around that. So you get known as the category of one on that particular topic. And then we're going to create some category language to get you all set up. So let's just take a moment, notepad and pen out. And I want to ask you this question, and I want you to just write down the first things that come to your mind. What part of yourself do you censor that would make your brand iconic if you let it through? Write down the first things coming to your mind. Now, when you're looking at that list, I want you to think if you were going to give it 1 to 2 words as just a word, a caption, a bubble name that would just kind of capture all of it. For example, Mel Robbins, she's got Let Them Theory, Uncut Theory, The Illuminator. If you were just going to come up with a bubble name for it, what would that bubble name be? Write down the first thing that comes to your mind. And now, if you were going to separate that, if you were going to say, okay, when somebody comes to see me, the problem they're in is this, they have a fear of being seen. But when they leave me, they've got the bubble method solidified, right? So my bubble method might be the Illuminator method. When they come to see me, they're feeling stuck. When they leave, they're illuminated into their potential. My next question, the third step of this process is, what are the 3 to 4 steps to get from somebody from stuck to illuminated potential? Write those 3 to 4 steps down now. Like, well, I have to remove their limitations, give them clarity in their brand, and then help them execute the brand. 3 to 4 steps. Just write those down. Okay, now you might need a little bit more time, and if you do, you can pause the training here. But What we're going to be doing there is what we've just done is we've highlighted your forbidden expression, which is your category of one positioning. Step two, we created your method. Mine's the Illuminator method. Yours is called whatever that bubble name is. And then in step three, we've just created the three steps of your method. And the best thing with this is you can create like a triangle in the middle. You can put in your method name. And then on each side of it, you can put these different three steps. That becomes foundational in terms of your sales cause, your branding, your content pillars, your books, your podcasts. What we just uncovered were the three things just here that literally are key to building $1 million brand that creates amazing impact. And I want to be able to take that heaps further with you, but we'll have to get on a call for that. But what we can do next is let's just give you a little bit of momentum with that. So I've put together this 7 day micro action plan. Day 1 to 2, you're just going to start to express that energy. Day 3, you're going to draft out this message. You're going to draw that triangle. Just start to look at it, see if you change some of the words in it. Day 4 to 5, you might want to create some unique ideas from that. So from that triangle and method, start to ask, well, if that's what I want to get known for, like Mel has with Let Them Theory, do I create the Let Them podcast? Do I create a book series on, maybe there's a book series on each of the pillars of my method? Start to come up with ideas. Well, maybe my events are called this. I want you to brainstorm that between day 4 and 5. And day 6, you're going to publish something really bold based off that. It might be like a quote that captures that philosophy. On day 7, you're going to ask yourself, if I was already the category, how would I show up today? And I'm just going to encourage you to use that as like a daily anchor question. If I were already the category, how would I show up today? And just show up that way day after day after day. Okay, so you guys, this has been such a jam-packed implementation session. I hope that this has given you a lot of clarity. We're literally only getting started. This is just a taste of some of the results that come from my clients. Again, these are like not typical results. These people took mass action. We had a 4x of a client revenue in 14 days. A property development go from zero to multi-eight figures in a few short years. Clients of mine go from selling 5K offers to 80K offers and more. But as I said, like what I've gone through today, it's literally only the beginning. What I'd really like to do is I'd love to give you a personalized call. We're going to go through everything you've written down here today in this call. And in about 15 minutes, I'm just going to illuminate the opportunities that exist for you based on your goals. What's your money goal? How many hours do you want to work per year? What's freedom mean to you? What does fulfillment mean to you? And we're going to build a brand strategy out, branding from offers, your sales, your marketing, books, podcasts, like absolutely everything. In 15 minutes, I'm just going to show you how we can achieve those money, time, freedom, fulfillment goals based on making it personalized to you and what's important. Because one of the things that I learned the hard way was like anybody can create success, anybody can reach a level of revenue, but not everybody gets there in a way that is aligned to their time, freedom, fulfillment goals. Many people have to sacrifice their family, their health, everything in order to make it work. But my approach is let's build a premium brand. Let's build a category of one brand so that you have the ability to customize the journey around what's important to you along the way so that you don't have to sacrifice your fulfillment. So, what we're going to do is we're opening up a bunch of these 15-minute little calls, and that's what we're going to go through on the call together. You've got my email address here, so you can either send me a direct email or you can book a call on this link below. As I said, we're also launching this book today. I'm really, really excited about it. It's uncut. It's the Annie Tall Poppy Playbook for Wild Ones Building Brave Brands. So you'll also get a free copy of that if you book this call here today as well. So thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure. I'm really excited to hear all of your breakthroughs, and I can't wait to connect with more of you on the course soon.